So speaking of billionaires, the NFL continues to have a unsatisfactory, to say the least, hiring practice and history when it comes to head coaches. This year, 10 vacancies, one minority coach, Robert Saleh, who is Lebanese American. I have a Lebanese American friend who texted me and said, I didn't know I was a minority. That's news to me,
right,
that I'm a minority. But hey, if it helps the NFL get a one on the board, so be it. No black head coaches this year out of the 10 vacancies. Roger Goodell was asked about it yesterday. We'll play some of his sound coming up. Troy Vincent said it best in extensive quotes that made their way into the Brian Flores lawsuit. This is a historical problem. There's a double standard. When the executive VP of football operations says it and nothing happens, it speaks to what DeMaurice Smith said, the former NFLPA executive director, a few years ago. There's no accountability. Nothing is ever going to change without accountability.
Yeah, I think Troy Vincent is right. I think DeMaurice Smith is right. And, you know, it's too bad because I look at it from the perspective of a head coach. So you're a head coach, and these guys who got these jobs, because it's not a one-size-fits-all. It's not just, oh, this is a simple problem. It's not simple. There are some guys who became head coaches. I'm happy for them. It changes their lives. It changes their family's life. They get, sometimes, like, I want people to understand, you're not just doubling your salaries in some cases, you're tripling your salary.
Right.
You have some security, even if it doesn't work out. You're getting 4 and 5 year deals at crazy money. So it's a great achievement, and a lot of people have worked for it. So I don't want to look at those guys and say, well, none of you deserve your jobs.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, it's confusing,
right,
and it is a double standard,
right,
because some of the things that are supposed to lead to head coaching jobs have not led to head coaching jobs
for
black coaches.
Right,
so, for
right.
example, if you're in Kansas City, you're next to Andy Reid. We know he's the play caller, but if you're an offensive coordinator, that's going to lead to a head job.
Right. Eric Bieniemy.
Matt Nagy did that part one. He did it.
Right.
Doug Peterson.
Bieniemy comes and the offense is better, and they go, no, you can't be a head coach.
It didn't happen for him.
Right.
It didn't happen. Hey, Tom Brady comes to Tampa, wins the Super Bowl. Byron Leftwich, offensive coordinator. Didn't happen for him. And so you just start to look at it. You got some second-time head coaches.
Brian Flores. Let's just talk about him. There's a guy that deserves it. Vance Joseph.
Well, you mentioned Florio. You mentioned Brian Flores and his lawsuit. If you look at what's happened and you look at what Brian Flores said, what did he say was wrong? What did he say that turned out to be wrong? Nothing.
The truth. He told the truth.
Everything.
That's what's wrong.
Even the criticism of Tua.
He told
right
the truth.
Tua.
He told the truth.
Right about Tua.
Right.
That the Dolphins players themselves, because he's a harsh guy. You've been around Florida.
Tough as they
smart
get.
guy, but he's tough.
Yeah, like you go, I hope he doesn't fight me because that's going to be scary.
And
he's
sometimes
got that.
Early in his career,
he would fight. I know. I was there. I was there. I know.
So, but Dolphins players, what did they say about the team? Soft. He came in. He identified the team had a quarterback problem.
Yeah.
He identified that the team was soft.
Right.
And he tried to break them out of that.
Right.
And they were better when he left them than when he found them.
Yeah.
And so he's better in Pittsburgh, improved the linebackers in Pittsburgh, went to Minnesota, great defense in Minnesota. He's an experienced head coach who had some success. Why not a second time around? So it's just, it's really tough if you are a black coach and you say, okay, what are the patterns and how do I follow the patterns? Because it seems like the patterns for white coaches will lead to what I want.
Right.
And the patterns for us,
we'll see. We'll roll the dice. We'll flip the coin.
Yeah,
I'm with you. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot there.
I posted an item at PFT with a collection of the various word salad responses from the commissioner, and I apologize, but that's, I know a word salad when I hear a word salad. And it's all just get me through to the next question, say what needs to be said so they'll leave me alone. He did get multiple questions. One of them was whether or not he believes teams are interviewing black head coaches or black head coaching candidates just to satisfy the Rooney Rule.
I think the Rooney Rule has been seen as a positive by our clubs by giving them an opportunity to look at a diverse set of candidates. They make the choice ultimately, but I think it's shown them the value of that. to look at talent where you might not know it or you may not see it. We're in a competitive league. People are challenged, and we have 10 openings this year. Teams are trying to get the coach that they think can win.
Look, they say they're trying to get the coach that can win, but how many times have we seen, and we know it when it happens, coach gets fired, owner knows exactly who he's going to hire or she. They know who they want.
Yep.
They're forced to have a more deliberate process, but at the end of the day, they can never be forced to make a hire. What forces them to change is accountability. It keeps coming back to accountability. D. Smith is going to be with us later in the week, and I want to hammer that point with him because that's what makes businesses change. Football's a business. What makes you change your ways? It costs you more money to do the thing that you're doing. You're either losing profits, you're increasing your expenses, you're making it harder to make money. That's when you change. It's anything. It's a light that needs to be repaired.
And none of that's going on. So that's why the owners are looking at it going, we're printing money right now.
Right.
So we're going good.
But if they never lose money over it, they're never going to change.
Right.
Yeah, and I think Roger Goodell's mistake here is he thinks that everybody wants to win. Okay, they don't.
Right.
And Mike,
we talked about this yesterday.
Yeah, Mike, you make this point many times about Dallas. Hey, if you can keep the whole operation going, if you're more than solvent, you got millions and billions of dollars coming in, okay. If you win, sure, that's great, but
life's still good. Things are going good.
I don't need to win to make money.
Right.
Look, the funny thing about the Rooney Rule is it's not even racial. It shouldn't be racial. It's just good practice. If you do what the Rooneys did, the Rooneys have done. They kind of broke their mold this time by bringing in McCarthy. But I remember talking when we were out in the Super Bowl, the L.A. Super Bowl, the Matthew Stafford Super Bowl. I remember talking to Art Rooney about this. And he said, look, when Chuck Noll got here, he never would have made it in this environment. Back-to-back years, bad. They got Joe Green, then they got Bradshaw. They were losing. And it didn't look like he really knew what he was doing, but they believed in him. They gave him the resources. They said, I'll give you time to build something. And so that's really what it should come down to. Identify a guy, give him the resources. You know you're in a bad spot if you're hiring most of these 10 teams, not all of them, but I'd say 6 or 7 of the 10 teams are really bad. And you're bad, and you got to know you're bringing somebody in. You got to give them all kinds of support to make up for some of the mistakes that you made that had nothing to do with it. And so the Steelers, if you just kind of follow the Steelers' plan, the funny thing is, the Steelers' plan is so successful, their fans say, hey, you're letting them here too long. It's too long. We don't want.
Well, that won't be a problem with the new one.
Let me throw a few things out to you just to hear, because I know we got to go to break, but real quick. I mean, we got offensive coaches are popular, and for whatever weird reason, there's not a lot of black offensive coordinators. That's a weird thing. We know it's deep-rooted in connections and family connections, decades long, right? That's the number one problem.
Nepotism.
There's the nepotism, the family, and which some of it, like you said, I mean, Shanahan's. Okay,
we got another Kubiak.
But exactly, that's
we got on the floor. We got a
which you can understand and not fault. But yet at the same time, go, I don't know if that's right, and that's where it's deep-rooted. And here's one thing that you've heard me say before. Last thing on the way out, because it's always the culture of the coaching is like, hey, I knew this guy, I knew his dad, I knew his uncle, let's hire his son, his grandson, blah, blah, blah. That goes on. The other thing is being a low-level person that worked for the Patriots, all right, if you don't come from money, it's hard to get started in the NFL. I made no money when I was losing money.
That's a great point.
Losing money.
Great point.
Getting
Think
nothing.
about how that becomes a barrier to entry
to
someone. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but because we've talked about this before. You need a job. You need to make money. You don't have anyone subsidizing your life while you go get an apartment and go bust your ass for peanuts. Until you can maybe establish a foothold, climb the ladder, and then make some money.
I played football and had money in the bank to go through that. But I just think, like, how could, like, Jimmy off the street here really survive in this with, like, he can't pay rent for anything. He can't get groceries. All right, we got to go.
We really got to go.
We got to go.
Michael Holley, he is the man.
Holley.
Michael Holley, the best PFT Live co-host.
Way to be a nice friend and wear the jacket.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.